Welcome to Bible Fiber, where we explore the textures and shades of the biblical tapestry through the 12 minor prophets, 2 reformers, and 1 exile. I'm Shelley Neese, president of the Jerusalem Connection, a Christian organization dedicated to sharing the stories of Israel's people, both ancient and modern. I'm also the author of the book Bible Fiber, a 52-week study of the 12 minor prophets available on Amazon. This week, we are reading the second half of Ezekiel chapter 47 and all of chapter 48. It is our final episode on Ezekiel, our first major prophet, and it has taken over a year to go through the dense book chapter by chapter. As much as I have enjoyed this process, these last few episodes have been like preparing for my final exam of a really tough graduate school course. But we are pushing to the finish line. The prophet's final recorded revelation is a divine mandate on how the land of Israel will be divided among the tribes once they are restored to the land. This vision is a powerful message of hope and divine faithfulness to a people in despair. The Israelites had lost their land and their temple, and this meticulous vision of restoration was a promise that God had not abandoned his people or forgotten his covenant promises. The passage begins by emphasizing that the division of the land must incorporate the 12 tribes, with Joseph receiving 2 portions to account for the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh. Within the specified borders of Israel, each of the 12 tribes is to receive an equal portion along with a specific geographic area. As the text proceeds, it provides detailed descriptions of the northern, southern, eastern, and western boundaries. The passage concludes with God affirming that this land distribution with its described boundaries shall be the inheritance for the tribes of Israel. The delineation of the land underlines God's promise to restore Israel's national integrity and secure their future in the promised land. Each tribe has a rightful place under God's covenant. Ezekiel 48 goes into granular detail about the specific land allocations. Ezekiel starts with the northern tribes moving towards the south. The northernmost portions are given to Dan first, and then followed by Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Ephraim, Reuben, and Judah. Each tribe receives a specific strip of land extending from the eastern to the western borders. Central to the chapter is the allotment for the sacred district set apart between Judah and Benjamin. This district includes an area for the sanctuary, territory for the priests and Levites, and land for the city and its surrounding open space. The city is known as the Lord is there, or Yahweh Shammah. This new order is not just about a geographical return, but about the restoration of Israel's national and religious identity under God's direct sovereignty. The passage continues by detailing the remaining tribal allocations from Benjamin to Gad, each receiving land south of the sacred district. The chapter concludes with a summary of the city's gates named after the 12 tribes. The grand message is that God is faithful and he longs for a future covenant land that is centered around worship. The chapter closes by reiterating the name of the city as the Lord is there. The name encapsulates the ultimate goal of Ezekiel's visions, reestablishing the connection between God and his people in a harmonious, divinely ordered society. The final distribution of the land, therefore, is not just a political act. It is the establishment of a new holy and life-giving environment for a restored Israel. The land itself is sanctified by the presence of the temple and the life-giving river. The future inheritance is not a return to the flawed past, but the beginning of a new righteous era under God's rule. The theme of tribal allotment is not unique to Ezekiel 48. Earlier land distributions were presented to the people in Numbers 26 and Joshua 18. These earlier passages provide the historical context necessary to understand the significance of Ezekiel's vision during the exilic and post-exilic period. Numbers outlines the divvying of land among the tribes of Israel as they prepared to enter the Promised Land. The allocation was based on the size of each tribe. In Joshua, the actual division of land occurs as Israel settles in Canaan. This passage speaks to the fulfillment of God's promises and highlights the importance of the land as central to Israel's identity and covenant relationship with Yahweh. They casted lots for the land because they relied on God's guidance in determining each tribe's inheritance. In the wake of the Babylonian exile, Ezekiel knew that the return to the land and the reestablishment of tribal identities necessitated a careful approach to land allocation. The people faced the challenge of reclaiming their ancestral lands, which may have been lost or occupied during their absence. We studied about this in Ezra and Nehemiah. The context of exile and the need for restoration permeate the chapter. The land is not only a physical possession, but a sacred inheritance tied to the covenant between God and his people. Ezekiel's vision of tribal allotments in chapter 48 is deeply rooted in the historical accounts found in Numbers and Joshua, yet it transforms and revitalizes these themes for a community returning from exile. The intent is to reaffirm their identity and relationship with God while facilitating a practical means of reestablishing a communal and covenant-oriented society. That's it for Ezekiel. Thank you for listening. We made it. I know what we are doing next in Bible Fiber, and it is a whole new kind of challenge. But I'm going to save that announcement for next week. Right now, I want to savor in the completion of our first major prophet. Shabbat Shalom and Am Israel Chai.